I didn't have no keys, no wallet, no nothing. I could not get into my house. So from my house to a nearby store, I didn't want to bother my neighbors. I didn't want anyone to be involved. So the nearest store was maybe 10, 15 minutes away. So I walked 15 minutes from my house to the nearest store. Understand what happened to me. What just happened to me when my stomach's swollen, and I know I was causing more internal damage, me walking on it, etc. My adrenaline was so high, I was just literally praising God, thankful that I was alive, more so than anything. And I was like, I was like, whoever tried to come after me, you didn't win, whether that was a spirit, whether that was that person, speaking to him, or you thought you had me, but I'm alive. You know what I'm saying? It's really just voicing how I really felt, because I could do that then. I took that moment to voice how I really felt, whether it was a positive, negative, presentation. I took that moment as I was walking, but also crying and teary-eyed and realizing what just happened to me and looking at myself. And I had a hoodie on because blood was all over, trying to cover that up, and knowing good well if I go into any restaurant, I was scoping out my territory, saying, where can I go without causing much attention to myself, to use a phone, because I need immediate attention. So finally I went in, and I could see some people looking at me. I said, I need to call the ambulance. If you don't mind, use your phone. And they were shocked, to see me, and was wondering, oh, you okay? I said, yeah, I'm fine. I just need to call the ambulance. And maybe immediately, in the next 5 minutes, the ambulance was there, the cops were there outside a store, and, admitted me to a hospital. It was a tough situation to be in at that moment, but I did get immediate attention. I had to. I went into immediate surgery. As soon as I got to the hospital, I had to go into immediate surgery because it was that bad. That much damage had been done to me. I had to go into immediate surgery, and I was in surgery for about 6 hours plus maybe. They had to, open me up, cut me open. I lived with a colostomy bag for about six months. And of course, hospitalized for about four weeks the first time, and out of work for about 6 months without pay. So, going through that process as well, when you're trying to survive and trying to, live at the same time. Of course, thank God for victims' compensation, who thankfully paid for, all of my hospital bills. I was registered to a very, very familiar hospital, Duke University, who really took care of me. I wanted to go there because I knew it had some of the best doctors, and I had probably one of the best trauma doctors, in his field, who helped me in his team. And I had an alias name, of course, for my protection and all of that. So during that time, I went through so many, things that I didn't never think that I could go through, and introduced to new environments that I never thought I would experience. And as I came out of my surgery, it was a lot of people that migrated to the hospital that found out about it, because I called my parents and told them they didn't need to come up to North Carolina from South Carolina immediately. And they came. By the time I got out of my surgery, a lot of people was there. And the next day I was a little bit more conscious. I was able to wake up from my situation. When something like that happens to a victim or survivor, the police come to get a report, they get your clothing, for forensic science, and the crisis centers, they come to support you. The clergy, all those people come to support you when you experience that. I was like, what are these people doing here? I literally get out of my hospital room. And I remember 2 women coming in. It was a crisis center coming in, and they was asking questions. I really didn't want to be bothered. I didn't want anyone to really know what was going on in that moment. I was trying to soak in what happened to me. As I woke up and looked down, my whole body was just full of tubes, and my legs were embraced. So I was just trying to respond to myself at that moment, and trying to embrace that moment, at that time, and still try to embrace other people who were trying to come in and get information from me. And they was just sharing with me about victims' compensation and all these other things that I rejected the first time. I figured that I have insurance with my school, they're gonna take care of it. But when I got that doctor's bill over $100,000, I said, okay, me and my family came back together. We may want to talk to the crisis center. And I didn't know that these resources were available, and that's kind of what I talked about, in my book, the resources that are available for those survivors that don't know about it. It's always good to plug into those resources, and thankfully I didn't pay none of that. Only thing I paid for out of that $100,000 was copay for my medicine and things of that nature. But it's so great to know that there's resources available for those individuals who experience those things. Not wishing that on anybody, but if it happened, you can plug into different resources, and they was available for me. And